All right, Shalom. All right, let me get straight into this lesson. But this lesson was inspired through bro- my blood brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, and the spirit jumped on me to do this lesson. So we all kind of dealing with some on this side. If it ain't one thing, it's another. But I want to go into the spirit moved me to go into the dreaded subject called death. Right. So this is something that you know Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah gave us the understanding. Right. We're not in the darkness in the fashion of this world, not understanding this subject. So I'm gonna elaborate more on this. You got brothers and sisters that have passed away in this fleshly realm and they transition on to the spiritual realm. And that's something that's not really talked about in the so-called Christian church because they want to keep you in a feeble state of mind, right? They want to keep you on a low level. So the spirit moved me to go into this subject. I don't necessarily like talking about it, but it's a part of the truth. It's a major part of us being in this flesh, death, right? So it's a very eerie, um, supernatural thing that's, that that can't be comprehended within the flesh. But we know what's going on. That person's body is dead, and the spirit has came out of the body, and the spirit has went into the spiritual realm. That's why you got something called the spiritual realm, right? Me myself. Now this could have just been a dream, but I don't think so. I remember maybe about 10 years ago, I really never did no lesson on this. I never talked about it too much. But I'm pretty sure, I like to be sure on things that I talk about, before I bring it up. But I was had an out of body experience. I was asleep and my spirit was like in another realm and I knew um that I wasn't in a dream anymore. I knew I was in the spiritual realm. And I remember going up like a tunnel, floating up a tunnel. It's like I was going into, so-called outer space. And I remember looking down, it's like I didn't have a body. It was just a spirit. And I could see like the earth. You know how I look in outer space, so-called, when it's very dark and you can see the stars. And I can feel the atmosphere. It's hard to really explain. And I remember I was going up, then something pushed me down that I couldn't see. And as I came back in my body, um, I remember seeing things in the room before I went back into my body. Yeah, it was out there. Again, let's proceed with this lesson. But that was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. Okay, Ecclesiastes 12:7. It says, "Then shall the dust return to the earth." So these tents that we dwell in, the spirit sits in these bodies. It's a temporary vessel. The spirit is immortal, right? Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. It says, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua. So you don't go to this place called hell. That's taught in the Christian church. All spirits go to one place. Now, can we elaborate on the spiritual realm? We don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's a mystery. But ain't no such thing as no hell, right? Check this out. At the top it says, this verse suggests that life is short. And it is when you think about it. That's why you don't got time to BS around and play games and do all these things that Jake like to do. It says this verse suggests that life is short and that our time to live wisely is limited. To live wisely is limited. Right. So you have to use wisdom on this side. Even coming at your own folly, you have to understand that it's a bigger picture than what you see. Right. And Jake, what they like do all this wickedness, and then when they're on these so-called deathbed, they want to cry to so-called God. Think about that for a minute. Why not get it right now? Right? Romans 8 and 6. For to be carnally minded is death, and that's this focus on this world, focus on his flesh. His flesh is limited. This flesh is temporary. You need to focus on the spiritual things to come, right? Because the point of you going to a funeral is for you to understand that this is a temporary process, right? Either you're going to die in the truth or we getting delivered, whatever come first, right? So it's going to be some of us that don't taste death, all right? Let me read this again. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Why is this? Because when you meditate within the spirit, you get a lot of stuff. It just life becomes a lot easier to navigate. You don't get easily triggered by stress and all these things because everything's going to eventually blow over, pass away. We just going through a temporary suffering, but it's only temporary, right? That's why you have to focus on the spiritual things and not wait till the last minute to try to get yourself together, right? Let's go here. But I know this is a heavy subject. It's a touchy subject to go into because, it's something that plagues a lot of brothers and sisters' minds because of them seeing people pass around them. But it got to be dealt with. John 6 and 63, it says, it is the spirit that quicken, the flesh profit nothing. What is this saying? That means our spiritual life is more important than the fleshy life. Why is that? Because the flesh is temporary, the spirit is eternal. Simple as that. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So this is why you have to contemplate these scriptures and go into heavy study and meditation within the scriptures and even your own life. You can't just be so focused on the things that's in front of you in this world. It's all temporary, right? Do you have to, take care of your business on this side to the best of your abilities? Yes. But that's not to be your number one priority, because what if you get ill with a life-threatening disease or whatever tomorrow? Then what's more important, right? This spirit, right? The spiritual matter. Let's go here. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. But this word was set up as a comfort unto the brethren and the sisters, that you not weep, in your illness, but you rejoice. And it's easier said than done, but that's how you got to build yourself up through the spirit, right? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. And that's what separates us from us in the world, because we have this understanding. It says, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren. It's talking about Israelites, concerning them that which are asleep. That mean they dead. The body dead, the spirit went on, right? In the spiritual realm. That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. So we're not to be, in a sorrowful spirit, even though we're going to grieve and mourn when we lose people that's close to us or people that we knew, so on and so forth, right? But we're not to dwell in that state of mind, because we know it's something bigger, right? Let's go to 14. And this is the constant war with the spirit and the flesh. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 14. For if we believe that Yahweh Mashiach died and rose again. So I wanted to kind of elaborate on this. Think about it this time when Yahweh Shah was crucified, right? Put to death in a gruesome fashion, in a humiliating fashion that he was. And all the brethren that loved him, the brothers dearly loved Yahweh Shah that was with him, that walked with him at that time. And think about the grief, the sorrow to see the Messiah get put to death. But the good thing came out of this, that he rose, right? He came in a glorified body. And that's what we have to look forward to. Immortality. The story just don't stop with you dying. That's why you got to be in the truth. Even so, them also was sleeping Yahweh Shah, with Yahweh bring with him. So the saints, the Israelites. Let's go here. Matter of fact, 2nd Ezra 14 and 35. It says, for after death shall the judgment come. So after we die in this flesh, if we don't make it to deliverance, you know, you have brothers that have passed away. I remember I did a lesson on the brother Dan Allah. He passed away maybe like about a year or so ago, right? So you got brothers that's going to happen to. But some of us not going to taste death. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. So we're going to live again. We're going to live. This spirit and in this body is going to come out of this body. And, you know, a series of things are going to happen at the deliverance. We're going to be given new bodies that can't die. Think about that for a minute. And that's why you have to sacrifice it all, because think about that gift. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So yes, consequences on this side. You can't just do what you want to do and expect for it to be all cool. No. So let's go here and look at this. 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. And this is what separates us from, you know, all these other teachings, these other religions, these other philosophies. Is this wonderful truth is so precious. It's above everything else that's been declared on this earth. 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. It says, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Do you hear this? So that's going to put, I'm just going to keep reading on it. It says First Corinthians 15 and 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. No more death. It's going to be a thing of the past. And this is why you got to put it all on the line, to sacrifice for the truth, because what else in this earthly realm can give you this right here? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, what's the scripture with the rich man? He said he was going to build more. Basically, Jake had that philosophy that they're going to get all this so-called money, but they can't escape death. That's what they lack of wisdom don't let them understand, because they in this particular mindset. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Right? So the truth brings on a certain peace that you can't explain, even dealing with death, right? Even though it's, you know, it's a very hurtful process, but at the end of the day, peace will be established from this, right? Nothing that's going to give you this comfort. That's why the scriptures is known, you know, the Holy Spirit, which is the understanding of the scriptures, right, is your comfort food, spiritual comfort food. Let's go here. I think that was it. But yeah, you understand the process of this. It is what it is. You know, it's one of those things that we have to deal with on this side. And once this process, you know, this part of prophecy is fulfilled, you know, by the being the end of Esau world and the beginning of Jacob, all this stuff will be a thing of the past. And that's why we praying and hoping and crying out for the kingdom. All right. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachat Hudash. Shalom.